This isn't on comedians. This is on the citizens. What the government is doing right now is not telling us that they don't like comedy. What they're telling us is that they do not care about you. They do not care about your safety. They do not care about your health. They do not care about you having a good time in the city that you're paying an exorbitant amount of taxes in. The average person on the street does not give a damn about what Samay Raina said, what Kunal Kamra said, what I have said. They are worried about putting food on the table, having a roof over their head, sending their kids to school. It's a weekly cycle of outrage. We're all used to it. It starts on a Monday, ends on a Sunday, and the following Monday they talk about some historical figure like Aurangzeb, bring him up.
Hi, Daniel. Welcome to the Quint. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Hi, Tanishka. My pleasure.
You've been in the industry for a while. I want to ask you if you have noticed a shift in the space, the comedy space, and the tolerance.
There are two approaches to this answer. One being the acceptance or the shift within the live space itself, as in where people come buy tickets and they come watch us, which has grown exponentially. The kind of material we are doing today versus what we used to do 10 years ago has shifted dramatically. So a lot of comedians across the country are talking about some really cool stuff, some really edgy stuff that's very funny, stuff that's very dark, very intelligent. So there's something for everyone within the Indian comedy scene. So it doesn't matter what sense of humor you have, you will find a comic that will be appealing to you to those senses. As far as the outrage culture that we're now witnessing with comedy, it's mostly got to do with clips that make it online, clips that are taken out of context, clips that are not fully understood. A lot of people think that stand-up comedy is a speech. So if I'm saying something, they think I mean it literally. It's not a speech at all. It's just a very humorous way of seeing a situation that we're all experiencing. So when these clips are taken out of context and then they're or misunderstood, you've got an angry mob of people who are not our audience to begin with. They're just not. It's like what's happening right now with Indian comedy is like people passing by a Sufi concert, getting really mad because it's not techno, and then trashing the entire stage and all the instruments. It's just, if it's not for you, it's not for you, which is something people online are not able to understand.
Yeah.
So that's where the shift is. So India still is one of the most vibrant markets for stand-up comedy. They're one of the smartest audiences in the world, from my experience. And even international comedians who have come down and performed to our people have had nothing but wonderful things to say about them. It is the people on the internet who are embarrassing us globally.
Right. So, like you mentioned, the comic scene in India has been booming. There has been a lot of chatter about it. But do you see the direction changing? Because there are very few comedians who do political comedy today. Is there scope
Mhm.
for that at all?
There is a scope, but it's a scope that comes with a price. I think right now, I think probably just three or four of us are talking about politics. There would be a whole lot more if people had a sense of humor. But I am not worried at all. What is happening in India right now happened in America when stand-up comedy took roots in the 60s and the 70s. It's just history repeating itself. So these things are going to happen. Stand-up comedy can be very jarring for somebody who's just not used to the art form, and you're used to very dumbed down content, very low IQ, low intellect content that has been shoved down our screens for so many years, and suddenly you have creators, and not just comedians, even storytellers. When you look at the kind of some of the shows that are coming out of India on maybe Prime, on Netflix, the Indian made shows, they are really good, the series. There's beautiful storytelling, there's beautiful acting, there's a lot of talent in this country. It's just that there is a large section of people who just don't get it. And that large section appears to be larger than it is because it's the internet. The average person on the street does not give a damn about what Samay Raina said, what Kunal Kamra said, what I have said. They are worried about putting food on the table, having a roof over their head, sending their kids to school. What you've got politicians here and their henchmen just stirring up the pot every 6 months to 8 months and kind of pulling up a comedian for saying something, pulling up an actor for saying something that they did not agree with. So it's just one gigantic circus that we are all witnessing.
Right. But when you say the average man does not care about this, but if you look at the trend over the last few years, there have been so many instances where what we thought was the fringe is now becoming at the very center, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
the instances are growing. It's no longer a once in a year sort
Yeah.
of incident that's happening. So is that going to
Yeah.
affect where the industry sort of goes in the future?
No, it will affect where the country goes in the future. Right?
Fair.
We have allowed the fringe to become mainstream. We have allowed the fringe to walk into a club where there are citizens of the country who have paid their taxes, who are out for a night out, to have some fun. We have allowed the fringe to storm into a room like that, put their lives at risk, and then vandalize the place. This isn't on comedians. This is on the citizens. This is
Yeah.
on every citizen who looks the other way when stuff like this happens, right? This is what's happening right now. It has nothing to do with comedy. It is about keeping people in line. It is about a show of strength, abuse these people, threaten them with death, threaten them with rape, vandalize their homes, vandalize the places where they work. That way, we can keep the citizens quiet so they will not ask questions. And sadly, we have played right into the politicians' hands, not just today, not just yesterday, not just 10 years ago. This has been happening for decades. I have lived in Mumbai almost all of my life, and I cannot remember one day where the roads were not being dug up. Roads that have no reason to be dug up are being dug up every other week. And why? Because they know the IQ of their base is so low, they will not question. They will not ask. They're happy to look the other way. Imagine this, you go to a fancy restaurant that charges a lot of money, you order a really expensive meal. That meal shows up 3 hours later, is stale and served on a broken plate. What would you and I do? We'd kick up a storm because we are expecting a certain level of service and standard because of the bill that we're about to pay. But we are paying way more in taxes and getting absolutely nothing in return. But there are no questions being asked about that. Mumbai is a city that has glorified struggle. We have accepted it. We have indoctrinated it into our beings. And okay, this is what it is. If you live in Mumbai, you must struggle because struggle is a part of the road to success, right? But that's the whole problem. In India, the road to success is full of potholes. So you will be struggling your entire life. There are people in this country who have lived and died at the same social status, socioeconomic status, because the government did not care. What the government is doing right now is not telling us that they don't like comedy. What they're telling us is that they do not care about you. They do not care about your safety. They do not care about your health. They do not care about you having a good time in the city that you're paying an exorbitant amount of taxes in. All they want you to do is keep your head down so they can put their hands into the coffers and take your hard-earned taxes that you have paid and put it in their pockets until the next party comes into power. And what they are doing right now is telling all the citizens of Mumbai, Maharashtra, India, whatever it is, that if you ask us questions in any way, whether it's a song, whether it's comedy, whether it's anything, we will come to your house and we will vandalize you. So this is not on comedians now. This is not on me as an artist. It is not on me to now tell the rest of the country what's going to happen with us. It's up to the citizens now. You need to respond and tell the government what you think about what they're doing. And knowing Indians, we love being subservient. We have that gulam attitude, right? We want to worship somebody. We don't want to be the boss. We want to be the servant. We don't want to ask questions. And knowing us, we will happily look the other way. We will live our entire lives in a pothole as long as as long as it means that we don't have to develop a spine and ask questions of the people that we have put into power. That's it.
Daniel, less than a year ago, you also faced a lot of backlash for a joke that you cracked. Your
Yeah.
shows were cancelled. You received a lot of threats.
Yeah.
How did you deal with the situation at the time, and did it change your approach in any way to the performance?
None whatsoever. I don't regret anything I said. And the only reason I apologize at that time also was because the mob started harassing the people I work with. They started threatening the audience, started threatening the venue, they started threatening the producers. So that's when, as an artist, you have to take responsibility for their safety because all of this is happening because of you. But I did not mean that apology one bit. I am not sorry about anything I have said. And as far as how I handle it is concerned, I handle it just as any other comedian does. We come from very, very privileged spaces. We are very connected. It is the mob who's wasting their time if they think that something's going to happen to us. When I was being threatened the last time, I was sitting at home with my feet up watching TV. I took a flight, left the country, went somewhere, came back. It doesn't affect us. If anything, it's a weekly cycle of outrage. We're all used to it. It starts on a Monday, ends on a Sunday, and the following Monday they talk about some historical figure like Aurangzeb, bring him up, and make that an issue. And we move on with our lives. And if anything, it makes our career even better. After every cycle of outrage, I have sold way more tickets. My numbers have gone up. I have actually made money out of the anger that has been stirred up in these idiots. And not just me, every other comedian is minting serious hard cash every time there is outrage. And those people who are creating the outrage, those people who are doing the vandalism, their lives are not changing one bit. It is the exact same hole of misery that they will die in. All of us are not getting affected. So it's just this is all a big game. And who's the victim at the end of the day? It's the citizens, not the comics. No.
But if you look at the recent incident and how it has already impacted Habitat, which said they had to temporarily close down, and then there was,
Yeah.
of course, bulldozer justice as well. So,
Yeah.
isn't this going to impact the space? Because, I mean, live shows are a major
Yeah.
source of revenue for comedians. And how many, does it raise a question as to how many venues are going to encourage brave acts of comedy such as these? Or is there always going to be a line, even that the venues sort of push upon artists?
Girl, winter is so last season. And now spring's got you looking at pictures of tank tops with hungry eyes. Your algorithm is feeding you cutoffs. You're thirsty for the sun on your shoulders. That perfect hang on the patio sundress. Those sandals you can wear all day and all night. And you've had enough of shopping from your couch. Done hoping it looks anything like the picture when you tear open that envelope? It's time for a little in-person spring treat. It's time for a trip to Ross. Work your magic.
So here's where, first of all, what happened at Habitat was very unfortunate. It was
Yeah.
very difficult to watch for a lot of us. A space like that is not just a stage; it's a home. It's a place of worship. Stand up for me personally is a very sacred experience. I don't take any moment I get on stage for granted. So what happened with Habitat is very unfortunate. Now, the implications of that are not to be answered by the artist. The implications of what happened at Habitat have to be answered by the people in power, the people who are responsible for law and order, the police, the legal system. What are they doing? So if there's video evidence that policemen were just standing by and recording videos while the act of vandalism was taking place. So these answers cannot come from us. It has to come from the people who are responsible for upholding law and order in our state or our country. I mean, is it okay then, based on what we saw last week, is it okay for all of us to now storm the BMC office and vandalize people over there and throw their chairs around because our roads have been a mess for over 40 years? Can we do that? That's what we're saying, right? And even if we do vandalize those spaces, we'll have to just pay 15,000 rupees and we'll be out on bail in 30 minutes. So what exactly is going on here? So it's all a big show. It's a big circus, and it's happening on the world stage. Yeah. So I think another thing all of us need to also take note of is that whatever's happening right now isn't just being observed or viewed in India. It's being viewed globally. People around the world are talking about this incident, and we're just embarrassing ourselves in a country that has so many real issues that need to be taken care of. We are focusing on something a comedian said, and he didn't even name anyone. And we're vandalizing spaces. So we gotta also think about how all of this is coming across to the rest of the world. And so I think that's another thing we need to consider.
Related question, Daniel. You perform in different countries as well. How
Yes.
different is the space in those countries for political comedy? Is it different at all, or is it as sensitive as it is in India?
Well, for starters, the chairs at the comedy clubs in these countries are perfectly safe. So no one walks into a comedy club after we have performed to vandalize them. I performed all over the world and I've said everything I wanted to say without any fear of holding back. And I do the same in India as well. If you come to a live show, I say things that I will never post online. Yeah, it's always the internet audience that loses their shit when it comes to stuff like this. And I want to take nothing away from the audience that comes watches us live. They are the best. They're one of the best in the world, on par with any other country. It's everyone else that's making the problems.
Yeah. And my last question, Daniel, which actually should have been the first question, is what is the line? I mean, do you have to keep redrawing a line for what can be said and what cannot be said? Not just you, but even other comics. I mean, is this always a mental game that has to be played?
I am of the opinion that there should be no line. I think the line should be the maturity that we as an audience should display. Where if I watch something that I don't like, that's not for me, I can go watch something else. It's as simple as that. There is a lot of content on mobile phones, on Instagram, on your TVs, on OTTs that many people will find objectionable. But if we then respond by vandalizing the filmmaker's office or the comedian's venue where they've performed, it's going to go nowhere. I think each and every one of us needs to take responsibility for what we consume, what we watch, what we listen to. And there will be moments where people are going to say things that you don't agree with. People are going to say things that you don't, you know, necessarily want to, espouse. But that does not mean that you attack them. Life is tough. Life is hard. You are not entitled to peace of mind. You are not entitled to your having your feelings never hurt. It's going to happen. So I think rather than asking an artist, this is where the line is, you can't cross this line. Just ask yourself what you can do to guarantee yourself peace of mind rather than wasting your time getting worked up about something that has nothing to do with you, especially because a politician told you to do it. It's all a game. We are all being used as pawns by people in power. It has been happening for years. It will continue to happen. And I think as citizens, we need to wisen up and become smarter and not fall for these games, not fall for the clickbait, not fall for all of this, identity politics. In a country that does not have basic infrastructure, and healthcare and education and employment for so many people in the world, how can jokes be up there on that list? How can jokes be taking up so much of our airtime on the news? Fix all of this stuff first and get everything right. Make sure everybody is employed. Make sure everyone's quality of life is at a certain level, and then come after my jokes. Then tell me you have a problem with something I said on stage. But don't hobble your way to a comedy club where the roads are full of potholes, where you're breathing, impure air, creating traffic jams for everyone else, and then say that comedy is the problem in this country. That's where I'm at. So let's all be a little smarter about the games that we are being forced to play. Let's stop being pawns. Let's stop being sheep and kind of like just be a smarter group of people because we are capable of that. We deserve better than that. We owe ourselves that.
Sure. Thank you so much, Daniel. Is there anything else you'd like to add about the subject?
Yes, I'm performing all over India and internationally for the rest of the year, next year as well, and the year after that. If you want to catch me at a live show and see what stand-up comedy is truly about, follow me on Instagram at absolutely Danny. Buy a ticket, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you so much, Daniel.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much. Yes, take care.